please open your books to book Jason, chapter 3, verse 16. I just rocked your ass. I had a t-shirt that said that once. It said Jason 3:16, I just rocked your ass. It's a reference to Stone Cold Steve Austin, a wrestler that was very popular in the mid to late 90s. Oh, pop culture, you're at it again, aren't you? Yeah, I thought it was funny and ironic. I used to play in bands, and well, I still play in bands, but and I used to mix things like D&D with wrestling on stage and just talk about the most nerdy things on earth. Have you ever played GURPS? I haven't played it in years. I can't get anybody interested in actually going over to this RPG system. It's really neat because it's universal. They have a lot of really cool expansion books, so you can play in any time or any race or anything you can think of. There's probably a book for. Like there's Black Ops, Secret Ops, Special Ops. You know, there's all like kind of like books. I only have the original and the Compendium 1 right now. I think I sold most of my stuff, but it's a D6 system. You only use D6, and it's just, I like it a lot because it reminds me of like 3rd and a half edition, but a little bit deeper maybe. It's easier to play in the sense where you're only needing one die. But then again, I think about role-playing games and I think, I have this set of dice. I want to use all of these dice because they're cool dice. Like, I want to roll a d20 and be thrilled by whatever I roll. Or disappointed. One way or the other. But with this, it's a D6 system. It's still fun. Like I said, it's all based on skills and there's like advantages and disadvantages, so you can get more points for your character by taking a certain amount of disadvantages, whatever your GM allows. Quirks, skills. Yeah, so really it's just basically everything's a skill check kind of, and then you've got combat, of course, unless you're not running a combat game, which would be a little weird. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know if there's a new version of this out. I think this is like third edition. I think there's a 4th edition out of this. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, very briefly, I'm just going to go over to my channel real quick. Somebody left these in my box at work tonight. This is my friend Daniel. He records music, such as Monsterland. This is 3 out of probably like 20 CDs he's recorded. But they're really interesting music, and if you go over to like the front page of my channel and you look on the right hand side, there's a section called Swell Fellas. And I just wanted to mention a little bit about all of them over here tonight, because I feel like I'm hogging all the spotlight. And I want to tell you about, I got 2 stories I want to talk about. Let's see, yeah, CDs in there. So where do we begin? Okay, Greg Miller. I've talked about him before. He works over at IGN. If you don't know what IGN is, go to IGN.com. They're video games, movies, nerd stuff. It's all wrapped up in one. They do commentaries and reviews and videos and so on and so forth. Probably one of the best sites on the internet, in my opinion. Will Terrell, he's the artist. I just really, he inspired me to do these in a sense, where like he just was so encouraging and uplifting, and everything he says is just so, makes you want to live. 221 Films. That's my friend Brad Rigo. We're very good friends. And he makes movies. And right now he's trying to raise money for a movie called Cryptid, which is another horror movie. It's a creature feature film. He's been talking about it for a long time now. And he had done a D&D movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I think you can order it. Just look up 221 Films. It's on Amazon.com. You can get it at my store too. Or if you're interested in a copy, I think I've got 10 or 20 copies here too. I can send one out, or maybe I can figure out where it's online or something like that. It's a mockumentary about Dungeons and Dragons. It's pretty good. If you play D&D, you'll like it. If you don't play D&D, you're probably not going to like it because you're not going to get it at all. Bob Melanson, his wife does a vlog I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of them, but he's a sound guy and an amazing musician. So you should definitely check out his channel, BB Melanson. BB. IGN, I subscribe to. Significant Others, that's my band. I think there's a few live songs on there or something. When we played Manja, that was a good show. We had Dana. I don't think he's got a thing on here, but Dana does light and sound sometimes for bands, and he's the best in this area by far. Like, he didn't do sound for us the last time he did lights for us, but the lights were just sick. Like, he DJs too, but like, he also does stuff for bands. Daniel Willett and Shobijin. This is actually, this is just Daniel, I think. Monsterland, The Revenge of Daniel, with such hits as see, some of this is in French and Spanish, and he speaks quite a few languages. I think it's like 4 languages. I Want, the Superman song. That's probably one of his most known songs. Like, if you know Daniel, like. But all of these, like Helicopter, Stop Ruining My Life, I Hate Everyone, Send Me on an Ice Drift, The Wanting, The Terror of Ophelia, Ghost in a Jar. Do you remember the day that happened? Somebody tried to sell a ghost in a jar on eBay. I was there for that. I remember watching it all day at work. I was working at Jordan's Furniture, and somebody told me about it earlier in the day, that someone was selling a ghost in a jar and was swearing up and down that they had a ghost in a jar. And so as the day progressed, though, the bidding went through the roof. Like, it got into the millions. And of course no one was going to buy it for $1 million, which ruined the auction. But they started popping up all over the place. First you saw another ghost in a jar. Then you'd see jar inside of a ghost. Or you'd see, like, goat in a jar. Or ghost in a ghost jar. Or, you know, it just went on and on. It got so ridiculous that day. Like, hundreds of auctions went up about that had something to do with ghosts in a jar. Anywho, there's a song on there apparently about that. I've heard a lot of these songs, I just don't know the names. I Want, the Superman song, is really good though, I like that. And his newest CD is The Enchantment, which he's on tour for. I think he's back home now, but he came through Lynchburg and he played at the bookstore, and it was awesome. It was such a good performance. And this one is entitled, But You Know I Have to Be the Vampire. The Woman with Too Many Consonants. 12. Anywho, yeah, check them out. Check those guys out. The Shay Tards, they're just a family. And Shay Carl, the one right below it. Just an awesome family that I think they had originally intended to do just a year of recording a little bit every day and putting it online. And now it's been like 7 years? I don't know. It's been a long time. But they're a cool family. Really nice family. They have so many kids. And they lived in, like, where did they live? San Diego for a while? Somewhere in California. I'm like, how the hell did... No, it's closer to Los Angeles, I think. Or Venice Beach. I don't know. They're a cool family to watch every now and again. He's crazy. He just does crazy stuff. He used to weigh, like, I don't know, like around 300, 280 something. He was a big, big guy. Huge beard. Beard tard. And he lost a bunch of weight. And I remember seeing a picture of him about a year after I hadn't been watching the show regularly. And I was like, no, that's not Shay Carl. No, that's... And I was like, oh my god, that's him. He lost, like, a stupid amount of weight. He was probably down to, like, 190, 180, maybe a little bit more, I don't know. And he shaved his beard off, and it was just crazy. He was a totally different person. So they're fun to watch. Alexander McPherson, he does makeup. He was actually on the first episode of Turn on AMC. He plays a sniper, I believe, and he has some dialogue in there. So good for him. He's I think he's starting to take off with what he's doing. Like, he does hair and makeup really well. He, you know, does a little bit of directing, but I think most of it's like kind of filming. And he's a very good actor too. So yeah, check him out. Is that a dog? I'm gonna kick it. Hang on a second. Let me kill this dog. Oh, you can't come in here. That's no. No, you cannot come in here. You probably just eating crap. Okay, good. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Oh my god. Yeah, this is Poe. She's named after Edgar Allan Poe. Pretty good dog. She wants to lick in my mouth. I think she wants to lick in my mouth, and I don't want her to lick in my mouth. I don't mind if she comes up and says hi, but you know what it is? I don't let her do that enough, and then she gets crazy when she can. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down on the floor. No, don't lick my arm. Lie down. Oh, for Christ's sake. I'm going to go shut the door either way. Get her out of here. Oh, God. God. Darn it. Oh, you never knew I was a stormtrooper. A little too tall for a stormtrooper. I attempted to trade a Jabba the Hutt playset from 1983 for this helmet. I have the eyes somewhere. I gotta find them. And so he gave me the helmet. He worked with Corey, so I saw him like every day. And then I think he got fired or quit, and I never ran into him or saw him ever again. And I never got to give him the Jabba, which actually I found out I didn't have. So I guess I made out on that. But if you're out there and watching, Greg, I think his name was, I'd gladly send it back to you. I just don't have the eyes anymore. That's my dog. That's my helmet. What else was we going to talk about tonight? Oh, I had two other stories. What were they? One, I want to tell you, it's a touchy subject. Like, not necessarily a touchy subject. I mean, obviously I'm not the cleanest living person in the world. Like, but it's kept me alive. In my younger years, probably from like 20 to 27, I used to partake in lots of drugs and alcohols. Still take, I still got my alcohols. But there was one thing that I always enjoyed, and it wasn't easy to find, and it was probably only like a 2-year period where I got to have it on a regular basis. And it's not a heavy drug. It's not like heroin or crack or any meth or anything like that. But it's acid, the LSD. I remember back in high school, I have a friend, Dan. I won't say his last name. I mean, anybody who knows him knows he does a lot of drugs. But I remember I was heavily into church at the time, and I had said, I'll go hang out with you one night, but you got to go with me to church on a youth group night. Yeah, that's a good even trade-off, huh? He said, all right. He's like, we're going to get this Jamaican red hair weed, and we got all this acid and mushrooms, and you're going to be so messed up. And I backed out because I got really scared about it. I was like 18 at the time, but part of it was exciting, but part of it, I still lived at home. I was a kid. I wasn't experimenting with things. I'd been straight edge up until then, not intentionally, but yeah, it's a funny thing. Like, a lot of things I didn't start until after I was 21, I'd say. No, actually, that's not true. So, there was a very short period of my life. It was like from 94 until, I remember the first time. I was 19 was the first time I ever even smoked weed. No, I was 21. I know I was 21. Because I'd had a drink before I was 21, but I hadn't had anything else. So, somewhere along the road of chaos, all kids go through it, after high school. Even if you go to college or don't go to college, most people go through the wild stage in their life where they do a lot of crazy and stupid things. Because you're immortal back then. And, so I can't remember how it came up. Oh, we had this friend, Keith and Monty, that would come over from time to time. We didn't mind them, but they would just show up uninvited, and, like, we loved them to death, like, but they would oftentimes show up and kind of just throw themselves in the midst of what was going on, and, like, would never bring anything with them, if you know what I mean. So I didn't really care, but a few of my friends did. Anywho, they had this friend Joe, and they came over all excited one night, not with Joe, with just Keith and Monty or something. They're like, dude, Joe's got a sheet of acid, and we were just like, holy shit, I've always wanted to do it, but I've always been scared. So my friend Alan had money. He got it. He got a bunch of it. I think it was like 12 hits or something like that. And we waited till Friday night, and everybody decided to go dancing. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go dancing. Like, I want to stay here and do this. And like, nobody who wanted to do it when they went dancing, which probably would have been even way cooler or crazier, and I would be insane to this day. But I remember me and Alan stayed home, and we decided we were just going to start, and when they got there, they could join in. It was going to be me, Gary, Alan, and Corey. And so he's got the stuff on him. I don't realize how much he's got it all, by the way. New American Idol, Carol wants. I have no idea if he has a whole sheet of it. I know nothing about it. We start doing it. We each take, I think, well, he knew that we had 12. So it would have been 3 each for us, which would have been too much to begin with, especially the first time. Just giving you a heads up there if you've never done it. And you shouldn't, kids. Say no. Or don't. And so we each took one, I think, at first, just to hang out and be like, see what it's all about. Hang on a second. If I don't start getting these shows ready for her. Come on, computer. It does not compute. I really want to get back to this story and wrap it up because we're at 17 minutes. That's bad, man. I usually don't like to go that long lately. I don't like to go that long lately. I just like to do short videos. I need a new mouse. The one I got at work is like $12.99 through Newegg. If you don't know Newegg, you need to know Newegg. It's an electronics computer part. That's where I get all my, like, when I build computers, I get them all from there. I used to go to a few other companies, but nobody seems to be able to compete with Newegg. Sometimes Amazon. Actually, I think I got my motherboard through Amazon. I hate when a piece of ice gets in your mouth from your drink and you don't know how big it is, and you're like, am I going to choke to death on this? I hope not. Alright. So, we wait maybe like 20 minutes, half hour, and nothing's happening. We're just like, and we'd probably smoked or drank or done something that night anyway, and so we're like, well, maybe we should take another one. We're like, alright. So, needless to say, this went on for a while. This for some reason, I don't know why it didn't kick in, because that never happened again to me. It was usually like within 20 minutes, half hour. We had by that point we'd taken 6 each, and people started coming home, and I was about to say something like, "Dude, this isn't doing anything," when it hit like a ton of bricks. Like, I decided I wouldn't be getting up. I've told you guys about the chill room at my house, I think. It was a maybe 12 by 14 room with, I took sheets, burgundy and like hunter green, and alternated them around it, even around the windows and everything. Then there was curtains over the windows, and then lace on the ceiling. And there was one desk in there for a computer and a stereo so we could listen to music in there. And one corner table in like the opposite corner where we had like candles and stuff and incense or whatever. And then there was 2 little windows in there. And there was 2 doors. One door into the hallway, one into the bedroom next door to it. Weird little setup. Anywho, we were sitting on these pillows that lie in the room, and at that point I wasn't getting up for nothing. Like, I was like, everything just got crazy to me. I remember first thing that had happened was Chris Hamlin, Gary Rigo, and Frank Lewis got in my face. And they're like, you okay? What's going on? Or I was like, their faces were all pixelated. And I was like, oh my god, this is awesome, but I wasn't expecting it to be that strong right away, like where things started getting crazy. And then I explained to them that, you know, we had just taken acid. They're like, oh, cool, da, 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 da. And then they were eating something. They may have been eating something. They may have just been pretending. They told me they were eating rocks. I'm like, oh my god, you're going to break your teeth. What are you doing? Don't do that. Like, that's not good. But I was dead convinced they were serious. That's when I found out shortly thereafter that was all of it. Like, I thought he was saving some for Corey and Gary. I didn't know that we must have lost track or whatever it was. And so I felt awful. To this day I feel bad about that, because we were all supposed to do it for the first time together, and I totally would have waited for them had I known. Sadly, I did not know. And we went on to do it together other times in the future, but that was the first time. And finally somebody came over and told him to stop messing with me. I think it was Gary. Alright, let me wrap this up. I've got one more thing I want to talk to you guys about tonight, and I'll be back in the next video. You guys go make somebody smile. For the love of God, I'm getting to it. Alright, I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great night. If you're liking these, subscribe. If you know anybody who might like them, share this with them, or on your Facebook or Twitter, and tweet it. Twits. And, yeah. I'm having a good time. This is 48. I believe. 48 tonight. We're 2 away from 50. I gotta do something at 50. Something I planned isn't going down. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. Alright, I'll catch you in the next one. Let's make this world spin a little happier, and here's to a few more tomorrows, folks. Double dang.